Turn 7. Alright, so ironically, we just finished Enchantment 2, which would give us personal regeneration, which is really important for our god, because it'll help against, say, like, oh, I don't know, bleeding. But yeah, god's dead now, so that's not going to help too much. We also got Alteration, so that's what we're doing. It looks like I switched up my research, so yeah. Yeah, we pushed Alteration first before Construction, because, you know, making these owl quills for research is great, but it's not going to help you fight. So Alteration 2 will get us Earth Meld, mostly. A few other useful things. It's mostly like self-buffs and stuff, which our guys can cast, and is decently useful, like Stone Skin will help keep our casters alive and stuff like that. Some of the resistances can be important depending on what mages he brings. But Earth Meld, it doesn't actually deal any damage, but it holds units in place in a decently sized area of effect. So I believe this is like 5 squares. You know, and so like a single square, at least like say for his sacreds, will have 2 units. So, you know, you're possibly talking about like 10 of his units. And so, yeah, they can't move assuming they get hit by it, which is not a guarantee. I think they get a chance to resist. Maybe not, actually. It doesn't mention any resistances. You can miss, so you can hit your own guys with it, which, you know, happens more than I certainly would like. But assuming that you hit, they get trapped. They can't move. Their defense score plummets, which is great news because these guys have a decent defense. And then they can free themselves, but they gotta, you know, do their strength plus a roll against 23 to get free. Now, unfortunately, these guys, his sacreds at least, have pretty good strength, so they probably will be able to free themselves. But even just for that 1 or 2 rounds that they're trapped, assuming they're in melee, that'll hopefully give our troops a chance to kill them. And it tends to spread them out, right? Because like some guys will get hit by Earth Meld, and then some guys will break it immediately, but then some guys won't. And so it'll create like a lot of stragglers, hopefully, you know, and you can just kill them piecemeal. So anyway, yeah, Earth Meld is going to help a lot, and it's something we can cast. So yeah, Alteration 2, kind of more of a oh shit move with the research. So yeah, we're going right away to try to call the god back. In retrospect, this might have been a mistake. It takes a while, so you can always call your god back. They might lose some paths in Magic, but you know, hey, at least get them back. But it takes a while. I think it's like roughly like 50 turns. So like a single level 1 priest will take 50 turns to call the god back, but you can stack up like multiple priests or priests of higher level, so you can call them back a lot quicker than 50 turns. But you know, it chews up a ton of your, right? This doesn't count as research, so this is hurting my research right now, and they can't, you know, fight in battles or make items or whatever, right? They're calling the god, and only priests can do it. So like these guys, the warrior smiths, they're not priests, so they can't help. Only these shamans right now can do it. Yeah, in retrospect, it took a while, and like, you know, my god is useful, but like not, I mean, as you can see, like it just lost to like, you know, 9 of his sacreds, and like maybe that was a bit of a fluke with the bleeding, but you know, yeah, the god is like questionably useful in terms of versus like just getting some more research and etc. But you know, I just figured like, well, it's most useful in the early game, so I wanted to get it back as quickly as possible. So trying to call the god back, but realistically that's going to take a while. So there's some battles. This is that same province. He was attacking again. It looks like I moved my army in, and we won, which is good. So like that again, you know, it's kind of like, well, maybe I don't even need my god. But I also dumped province defense. So yeah, you can just you can spend gold to get this province defense. So it's, you know, if you the more gold you spend, the more troops that are going to show up. So I went with 15. 15 is good. You know, it costs, you know, it costs money, right? And like that's money you could use elsewhere, and you can't ever move these troops, right? So province defense is not super useful, but I mean, I figured I was going to get attacked here realistically. If not this turn, then like some other turn, because this is the only province that he can attack me through right now, that at least like we border on. And you know, I was moving my army in, and the nice thing about province defense is no matter how many of these guys die in the battle, if you win, you get them all back for free, right? So it's like you spend it once, you get them forever in that province, assuming you don't lose it. So yeah, it can be useful. And again, these Amazons like are tougher than normal, like, you know, independents. The infantry they're okay, I guess. I don't know. I never have good luck with them. They have decent defense skill though. And like not terrible protection, same as like our warrior maidens. And then these riders are they're also sacred, same as I think all of the Amazons, like cavalry, are sacred, I think. But anyway, these ones are, and you know, they're decent. So yeah, they're gonna help us out, and also like they're up in front, so they're gonna soak some casualties. We got our prophet here, so that's gonna help. You know, he's a solid caster. We have a lot of archers. I actually kind of doubled down on the archers from what I recall, which, yeah, is kind of a mixed bag. The nice thing is I'm pretty sure they don't get affected by that fate weaving. I'm kind of curious to see. Yeah, okay, so this one, right, so this is what this looks like, this cursed luck. Okay, so it has an increased chance of getting hit, increased chance of the hits dealing high damage. And then also it knocks out luck if you have it, which we don't. So yeah, that's bad, and that's for 5 rounds. But I don't think that arrows trigger that. Oh yeah, and then that's the awe kicking in. Anytime you see, yeah, like that, like the unit gets lit up. They were awed, so instead of attacking, they just were like, wow, that's an amazing potbelly. Like, how did you get it so beautiful? And they don't attack. So yeah, the awe is definitely affecting some of our guys. But we're still getting attacks in. You know, because even these Amazons, you know, have decent morale. Nothing amazing, but yeah. And then archers also don't care about awe either. So they just keep shooting arrows. I don't think they're really hitting much, other than our own guys, of course. Just chewing up our own guys. But you know, they do get some hits in. Hang on, let's take a look. Let's see if the archers are actually doing anything. This is definitely useful if you open up the menu, take a look at the unit overview. You can kind of get some details. It's a bit hard to read the battle log, but it definitely does help in terms of like kind of getting a little more detail on like what the heck is going on, right? So like here's one of his sacreds that died, and you can see like here's the history of what happened. So okay, like our archer hit him for no damage because his protection helped prevent. So yeah, awe didn't have an effect on a Jade Maiden. Blah blah blah. He got his arm bitten off by one of those lizard things that the Maiden's riding, so that definitely sucks for him. He awed somebody. Okay, so we got an archer hit, no damage. So yeah, maybe these archers not the greatest idea. 2 points from the archer there. Hey, there you go. The archer actually killed this guy. 10 points of damage. Got lucky there, I guess. So let's see, like what killed this guy. So the Amazon speared this guy to death. Yeah, doesn't even look like there's too many archer hits happening for this guy. And then of course too, like, okay, this guy got killed by a sacred. These are our own guys killed by one of his sacreds. That's good. Definitely did look like at least a couple of our guys were getting hit by archer fire. Now of course, just because they got hit by it maybe didn't kill them, right? So, but yeah, it definitely looks like that. I mean, his sacred's yeah, see, so there you go. Archer hit our own guy for 5 points of damage. Yeah, it's unfortunately like kind of hard to tell, because I like, especially with the archers, right? It's like which one of those arrows that like hit is from which archer. So in terms of like determining if fate weaving actually affects the archers, yeah, I'd have to click through like all these guys. So I don't think it does. Anyway, we did win pretty handily. I think it was mostly just, we lost some axe warriors. And I think they were the ones doing a lot of the killing. Let's take a look. Nope, it was the Amazons. So there you go. And our archers got 2 of them. So, I mean, that's something. That doesn't guarantee that, like, because, right, the axe warriors could have brought him down to, like, 1 health, and then the archer, like, pinged him for the last bit. Although the one archer got, 10 damage, which is, respectable. So yeah, anyway, we did win, though, so that's big. And he lost almost everything. You can tell he's using relatively small groups because, these guys are decently powerful. And he also probably wasn't expecting this much PD and maybe not an army. I don't know. But anyway, these guys definitely can operate in smaller groups, but not against this much stuff. Still expanding because, it's important to expand. Yeah, there's Steel Maidens. It's going against a slightly tougher province with some heavy cavalry. But yeah, these guys are they're really good. And then we were attacked somewhere else too. Where is this? Oh, right. Yeah. This is the other guy. And so we had been, again, this is, the diplomacy is outside of the actual, like, game, so I can't really show it, but we had been discussing, he wanted this province initially, and this is the one with those crystal Amazons that have the astral access. That would have been really nice. And I don't think Macone gets astral either, right? So this is definitely something we both wanted. And, initially I was like, no, I'm going to hang on to it. But after my god died, I basically traded this province for a non-aggression pact. Diplomacy in Dominions is generally non-binding, so there's no guarantee that he won't still attack me. But most people usually abide by NAPs, the non-aggression pacts. So yeah, and I don't want to get 2v1'd. So I figured, this is a really valuable province. So that'll hopefully, keep him off my back or let him know that I'm in trouble and he should attack me. But yeah, hopefully he's not a backstabber. And then assuming he holds to it, then this flank is secure, which is good because, got ourselves a fight here. This is his capital. So yeah, again, pretty close, like 3 provinces away. It's a very tight map. So yeah, but this is good. Winning this battle and then clearing this out is good. So, okay, the god died, but, things are still going okay. Got some scouts down here. He doesn't really appear to have a whole lot, right? We can see this is independent, this is independent, this is independent. So maybe he expanded a whole bunch down here. But considering that, right, we defeated 2 of his, armies, if you will, or expansion groups, really. He probably, that's it's early in the game. I only have like 2 expansion groups myself, right? So maybe he has more, but there's a good chance that, he hasn't really expanded down in this direction very much either. So, okay, the god died, but this is, looking okay. For us, because it looks like we're larger than he is. We've been winning some battles, and almost quite strong in the early game, because their troops are really good. So this could work out. So anyway, yeah, turn 7. Okay, turn 8. Somebody claimed a throne, so that's good for them. That the thrones are how you win, and they often provide some really good benefits, in the interim. So yeah, if you can claim them, that's great. They're usually well defended. So yeah, and then Kaliza, who were fighting, just created a new prophet. Either they lost their prophet fighting independence, or possibly we killed it at some point. And so they named it Alm Hardskin Boar is Dead. So I think my assessment that we're in a life or death struggle is accurate. So yeah, that's definitely pretty cute, naming your prophet that. It's also a good way to sort of just let the game know at large that I'm not doing so hot, and maybe come attack me. So yeah, that's a little concerning. But we're continuing to attack. So yeah, we win a battle here. This is not too much. This is honestly probably just, it doesn't have any commander, right? So this is just remnants of some other army that he wasn't able to collect with kind of minimal province defense, and we were able to beat it without too much difficulty. One of our scouts saw a battle from an unrelated faction. So this is Ubar. Yeah, they're a newer faction, I guess. Like, I'm still a relatively new player, so they're kind of all newish factions to me. But yeah, they took out, is this a throne? I think it might be a throne. Because that's, yeah, it's a throne. So this is probably worth watching. So yeah, they've got, these camel riders are kind of cool. They have bows that are okay, but they get these birds that they get like automatically every battle, and they like just fly, and they're really good at just messing with guys, especially like mages, because it's just like they want to do some stuff, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of birds in their face, and whatever they were planning on doing, now birds. So yeah, so he's got those guys. He's got some archers. These guys are also slaves. This is like a race, like kind of like jinns, right? That's their whole thing, is like jinns in the desert and etc. So here's some jinns. The jinns are really good. They have like just a cornucopia of abilities that are super useful. Not going to go into all the details of them right now, but basically these guys are scary. And then they just have these soldiers, just kind of some regular Joe Schmo spearmen that are slaves. Pretty good morale. They're being led by a taskmaster, so you know, this guy, I think this guy, yeah, he's taskmaster, so he gets a bonus to leading slaves. I guess this is one scary dude. So yeah, anyway, they're up against, this is not a particularly strong throne, but still, like, you know, it's got some mages back here, right? So this guy's got paths in blood and death. And he has some blood sleeves here, so he can cast like some bigger spells. He's just summoning skeletons because the computer loves to summon skeletons. So yeah, generally if a caster can summon skeletons, that's what he does. These guys can't summon as many skeletons, but they'll probably still summon skeletons, just fewer of them. And this guy, yeah, probably also summon skeletons. Yeah, you know, more skeletons. So anyway, a lot of skeletons coming out. I think that's going to be pretty much it. The jinns, they can fly. You know, it's one of their many abilities. They came back here. They already killed one of them. This guy's peacing out. He's like, nope, F this. There's jinns who just slaughtered somebody. I already made my skeletons. Yeah, so this is no problem here. These are just like some regular hoplites that are part of the defense of the throne. They're like coming back to try to save them, but yeah, I mean, it's not going to matter. These jinns can probably kill so many hoplites. The undead are, you know, they're doing okay, I guess. Yeah, you know, killing some spearmen, but really, like, the meat of the combat is happening back here. Unlucky for the player, there's still like one or two commanders. Actually, no, there's a crap ton of commanders. No, wait, these are heavy infantry. My mistake. Yeah, so I think this is the last commander. So if the jinns had managed to fly in and snipe him too, then yeah, it would all be over. But instead, they got to chop their way through, you know, everything basically. But I think, yeah, the jinns will be able to do it, no problem. This is gonna take them a little while. Though actually, yeah, they're taking some damage. This is actually kind of tight. There's a lot of hoplites. The archers ran out of ammo coming up, getting in melee, which they suck at. Yeah, wow, that was actually pretty close. But he got it. So you got the throne, which is good. I don't know what throne it is, but yeah, you know, you want to capture thrones, so good for him. Putting scouts on thrones is usually useful, because you want to know who's winning. and you win through thrones. And you can usually see, right, because people try to capture them, and since they're decently defended, you usually see kind of like, well, what's their best stuff that they can have. So he could be one of my neighbors in the future, but I don't have to worry about him just yet. So anyway, so there's that. And this is another pretty big battle. It looked like he moved out some more troops. And then this is just some of his province defense, not too much, and this is a lot from us, so I'm committing pretty heavy here, but we won. It worked out. So we captured both of his non-capital provinces, and and then we also, our scout, poor Bobo, was discovered. So yeah, he has a crap ton of province defense in his capital. Capitals start with a good amount, I think. 25, which is solid. I think this is more than 25, so he's probably put more in it, because he's worried. He's been losing battles. The Khalisas, they like monkeys. It's kind of their thing. So a lot of monkeys, and then those the pot-bellied sacred guys. I don't really know. I think it's Indian mythology, but I don't know the specifics. Less familiar with that. But anyway, so this is good. Pushing forward. Winning some battles. It's a lot of province defense in there. And you can see kind of like roughly. So there's like 30 enemy units. And it's mostly his sacreds, so that's kind of scary. Like 30 of those guys would be really tough. And then also he has a monolith, and so that's his god. And that's scary, because the gods are usually like strong casters. And the monolith can't fight back, other than casting spells. So in that sense, it's not too bad, but it's also pretty hard to kill monoliths. Moving the scout forward, seeing some other nations down here, which is good news again, because that means that he probably hasn't expanded all that far down. In fact, he might be down to only his capital. This kind of sucks. Was hoping to, and then this kind of sucks. You can see people are closing in on us now as well. Don't really know what's going on to the north. Still haven't gotten these, which is not good. Because this is part of our cap circle, and so if people show up in there, then we kind of gotta talk with them and hopefully convince them to get out, or they might decide geez, this guy hasn't even cleared his capital circle, what's going on? He's probably in trouble in somewhere, and we're actually doing good-ish. Let's see, usually by turn 12 you want to have at least 12 provinces is kind of the rule of thumb. So yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 on turn 8, so we're kind of ahead of the clock by just the skin of our teeth. But we're in a war. So yeah, expansion has basically stopped for me in terms of capturing independent provinces. And so now we're capturing this guy's provinces, and that's great, but now we're down to just his capital, and capitals are a much tougher nut to crack. We're doing good, but there's a reason that we haven't cleared our cap circle, and it's because I've committed a ton of stuff down here. And if somebody were to attack me, somebody else, that'd be really bad news. Trying to recruit some units outside of our fort. We only have this one fort, our capital. You want to try to get other forts up around this time, maybe a little earlier. Start construction. Construction takes a while. I think 4 turns just to get a palisades up, which is the lowest level fort, one lower than this fort. Palisades aren't they're not great. You generally don't want to leave something as palisades. But Ulm can recruit troops outside of their forts as long as it's a forest, a mountain, or highlands, which is the reason that our start here is pretty cool. So we've been taking some advantage of that, recruiting like some scouts outside of our capital, recruiting these warrior chiefs who can lead our troops outside of the capital, and also like some units. So again, doubling down on those archers, which we'll see. But yeah, so that's just more troops that we can get out, because you can only, now we're recruitment point limited. So we fixed our resource problem, but there's only so many people in this province, and so that's what's tied to the recruitment points. So you can only recruit so many troops in the province, and then as far as commanders go, you're pretty limited. It's based on commander points, and it's just like kind of an arbitrary. It's based on the level of fort. That's kind of why palisades suck, because they only give you one commander point, and like regular commanders, like this guy only takes one commander recruitment point. So like you could recruit one of him a turn in a palisades, but pretty much every mage takes 2 recruitment points, or for some of the more expensive mages, they take 4 recruitment points. So like this guy would take 2 turns out of a palisade. Now at this fort, it's 1 turn for these guys. But anyway, we're not even recruiting the warrior chiefs here at our fort, because that would prevent us from recruiting mages. And pretty much mages rule the roost. You want as many of those as you can get. So if you can recruit regular commanders outside of your forts, that's just more mages that you're going to get. So anyway, so that's what we've been doing here. And that's, you never want to see people show up on your borders, which of course they always do, but especially like this is a forest, which would have been nice for us to grab, because another place we could recruit troops, and now we can't. And now these guys showing up, now they're close to this throne, which I was kind of hoping could get, and maybe still can, but now they're going to have a crack at it as well. Also, like anything that's only 2-way from your capital, you kind of want that. It's kind of on a normal map, you can kind of consider that as yours, like not 100%. There's give and take, but basically, like if there's only one province between your capital and like somebody else's province, that's not good for you, because it's a really short march for them to just come and sit and start sieging your capital. And generally, it depends on the faction. Ulm isn't particularly capital dependent, so it's not as big of a deal for me with this faction. Some factions are very capital dependent, but every faction, like your capital, it has the most people in it, generally the most income, like by a lot. So like 354 income versus like 59, 51, 47, or even lower, like 43, right? So like if having your capital sieged, it's a huge hit on your income. It's probably a place where you can recruit a bunch of troops. You're going to be getting special mages out of there that you can't get anymore. You don't want your capital to be sieged, which, like, no shocker. So anyway, if there's only one buffer province between your capital and somebody else, that's a little scary. And so now we have that situation with, well, a lot of people. Again, this is a tight map, but yeah, would have liked to get a little more buffer, instead of like becoming this really like weird elongated snake shape. Not great. Like this province is like so critical for us now, assuming that we can even hold on to this, right? Because like now this is just like one province where you could like sever, kind of my developing empire. So not great that we're in this early war like this, but we are winning so far, so that's good. So yeah, that was turn 8. So yep. This was that throne that we saw the battle on, and so he claimed it. Must have been his prophet. So it's the crystal throne. I think that's good. All the thrones are useful. I think you can get like crystal mages. You can recruit them from this throne, I think, and if so, they're good mages. They're really useful. So yeah, still actually continuing a little bit of expansion, it looks like. which is good. This is probably, yeah. So trying to clear our cap circle, which is just, again, really important. Want to try to project strength to people, because, Dominions is very much a game about information. So if somebody shows up, right, and captures this independent province and is like, oh shit, this is Ulm's capital, like, what is going on? Then they kind of know that we're struggling a little bit. Whereas, if they just show up here and they're just like, oh, okay, like, this is an Ulmish province, they don't immediately know that, like, oh, he's been having trouble expanding, like, that's his province, like, that's his capital right there, so it just, yeah. And I mean, more resources in the capital, and not a lot of income, but you want to capture provinces, so that's good. And then it looks like, what do we do here? It looks like we just combined the two armies that we had, because we captured both of these last turn. So yeah, so just trying to bring it all together in one army. And that's probably mostly just because for starters, definitely didn't feel strong enough to take this on. Especially too, now there's like 130 units, so he recruited a crap ton of monkeys. So that's the downside of waiting around, is the longer that you wait, the more stuff that they can recruit. So that's not great. We probably brought reinforcements up from somewhere. So yeah, we're just basically trying to gather everything up into a big army before we attack and hit them with everything that we got. So yeah, continuing to scout around. He does have a province here, so he's not down to only his capital, but like that's it. You can even see like some other players pushed in here, another player is pushed in here. So yeah, he's on the ropes for sure. And this is looking pretty good for us. Let's see, what are we doing? Research-wise, our research, not so great. And that is largely because we're using our mages to try to call our god back. The god is still not back. This is going to take a while. And like I said before, yeah, this may be a questionable decision to try to call him back, because it really hurts. Like, we still, I was talking about Earth Meld, but we still don't have that. We'll get it next turn, just barely. So yeah, our mages are basically kind of useless right now. Mages are great if you have spells researched. So at the start of the game, not so great. And the longer you take to research, the longer it takes for them to be useful. So yeah, still bringing in more shamans, just regular shamans. Probably don't really have enough money for anything else, because we're still trying to get as many troops out as possible every turn. Recruiting troops outside of our capital, over here, maybe not down here. Probably can't recruit too many. The province does need to be, like we can recruit like one Amazon a turn there, or 2 Axe Warriors is, I don't know, questionably useful. But, some of these provinces, like, okay, we're getting 5 archers a turn here. So anyway, just trying to, pump out as many troops as possible, because, we're in a war here. So yeah, and then the shamans, of course, can call the god back, because they're priests. So that's part of why the shaman. And you can see we just got our second death guy. Really would like to get death 2. So that's just gonna help us cast some better death spells and just get better death access. Death 1 it's okay, but yeah, it's luck of the draw with Ulm. So just gotta keep recruiting them. You can see, like, here's 2 Earth is the most common, because I think they all have. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, sorry, that's that particular guy. They guaranteed to get 1 Earth, and then they could random into a second Earth. whereas for the other paths, they need to hit both of the randoms in the same school of magic, so it's a heck of a lot less likely. So you tend to see, you know, a lot of these guys, or these guys, you know, or here's another guy who didn't hit his random, but got split. So yeah, to get two of these guys early was actually really lucky. That, you know, had two paths that wasn't in Earth. You tend to see these guys a lot more, or like these guys. But these guys aren't terrible. 2 Earth is nice, so better to see this, I would say, generally, than, you know, something split like this. Anyway, still, you know, trying to get more mages out, calling the god back, you know, gathering forces for an attack, kind of a slow turn. So yeah, turn 9. Alright, turn 10, we finally researched Alteration 2. We're doing Evocation 1, so I switched around my research again, which is pretty common. You know, you do want to change your research, like, depending on what is happening at that moment in the game. So, you know, again, delaying construction even more. So, love to get those quills, but, like, realistically right now, you know, I'm in a war, so Evocation is, you know, more like damage type magic. So Evocation 2 will get Lightning Bolt, which at least one of our mages can cast, it's really good. It's only like one person, which is not good. But, you know, his armies haven't been very big so far. Now his guys have shock resistance, 10. So the lightning will still deal damage to him. You know, if we hit him, not a ton, but you know, it's something. And then it'll also give us, let's see, oh no, will not give us Fireball. So yeah, just that, more or less. We can cast Fire Blast, but the range is just kind of too low to usually be useful. We cannot cast Flare. In theory, we could cast Cold Blast, but I don't think I have any guys. So yeah, pretty much just Lightning Bolt. And we only have one guy that can cast it, so honestly, yeah, not great. We really want to try to make it to 3 for Fireball, which won't really help, again, against his Sacreds. But it will help clear out, just, you know, right, he's got like 130 monkeys. Fireball will help some with that. And then it'll also give us Sleep Cloud, which will put guys to sleep, including his Sacreds. It'll put our own guys to sleep too, but, you know, we'll usually outnumber them. And we can cast this pretty reliably on our capital mages, which I don't have any of yet. But, you know, I could recruit some, maybe. In theory, I think some of our guys might be able to cast Acid Bolt. Yeah, but I think they need help to do it. None of our guys can. Anyway, Holm has problems casting stuff. So, but it's possible. You kind of have to, it takes a little bit of doing. But anyway, so yeah, trying to research some evocation magic, because, you know, want to try to get the mages more useful on the battlefield. Although now we do have Earth Meld. Still have not attacked yet. And I gotta be honest, looking back at this, probably should have attacked, rather than just sitting here, or like maybe take this. I think I talked with McCone and agreed that he could take this, but like I could have come over here and taken this, or, you know, maybe like this. You know, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. You know, hindsight is 20/20. And I mean, you know, if I like move this army off and go do stuff with it, you know, I might lose guys. This isn't a lot of indies, but, you know, you never know when something is going to go badly, or like, you know, this player might decide like, oh, hey, cool, I'm going to go grab these independents, right? And then I bump, you know, with somebody else, and then this guy's just like, num 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 num. So yeah, it's not great that they're hanging out and doing nothing, right? You generally don't want to do nothing, but at the same time, like, you don't want to go in too early when you're not ready. Now that said, I don't really see much that I'm bringing up I did bring the army that got this back to the capitals, so I might be waiting for that to get down here, and hopefully I'll bring some mages too, because now that I have alteration, they actually have some useful things to cast, whereas before they didn't. So yeah, if I'm waiting for that, good job, past me. If I'm not, then yeah, that was a mistake. But yeah, not too much else going on. I guess Arcocephali lost a prophet, so they're declaring another one. Some unexpected events, which mostly don't matter. We took a little bit of misfortune on our scales, so our events aren't going to be great usually. And yep, so this is minus 20 income, which actually kind of really sucks. This is one of the less good ones to get. I mean, events definitely can be important. They're less important than other things going on, but this is rough. This is a permanent loss to some province, and 20 is significant. You can see like most of these is like, 35, like 38, 46. So to like lose 20 off of this permanently, then yeah, I mean, it's not backbreaking, but yeah, it hurts to see that. And some people died during winter, which also sucks. Less recruitment possibilities there. I don't know if we can. Yeah, we could recruit here. So recruitment is, it's tied to population, I believe, and so is the income. So losing people is, basically like losing money as well. So, we lost some money and we lost some money, but that's what happens when you take misfortune. So, can't really complain about that too much. Yeah, otherwise, not too much going on. So yeah, that was turn 10. All right, turn 11. Still no action. Not really sure what I was thinking here. Went after some more neutrals. Yeah, I don't even know which province this is. We won though. Okay, nice. Yeah, so I mean, this is not bad. Definitely, worried about, right? Like we could see these guys. Ubar is moving in. We know that they have this throne. One of their things is like it's hard to tell like what provinces they have. They like show up as neutral, and I don't know why these don't. And then these do show up as neutral. I don't fully know what governs that mechanic. But anyway, we could, we know that they have this province. We can see that they, have these provinces. They're definitely moving in. If we don't capture this, these provinces over here, like someone else is going to, and obviously like Arcocephali here, has already been bordering us for a little bit. So that's also probably like some of my hesitation here. Is that like I don't really feel strong enough to jump on this capital, and then I'm also trying to use some of my strength to like kind of clean up some of this mess that I left behind in like this mad rush that we kind of got ourselves into. But yeah, definitely like just having this army sit and hang out here is not great. Yeah. I don't think our research has changed. Yep, it's even lower now, so it looks like we are moving some mages up somewhere, maybe? No? Not sure what happened. Oh, okay, we moved some guys out to site search. Yeah, so this is how you get magic gems. So you get like some gems just from your capital sites. Nope, not that one. Yeah. So we just have one capital site. This is all of our gem income, at least at the start of the game. But provinces have magic sites in them, potentially. And you can see them here, right? So this we just discovered simply by moving into the province. We haven't done any searching. Some sites are like that, where you capture the province and you get to discover the site for free, which is great. And so this is giving us one air gem a turn, which is really nice. But if you want to find more, you got to send your mages out to search them. And so so they got to move there, and then this turn they're gonna search, and then you'll see like some boxes appear here to indicate like whether or not you've what paths you've searched that province, and we haven't done any searching yet. Yeah, again, in retrospect, I mean, getting your magic gem income going as soon as possible is really important. So it's good that I'm moving out to search this. These guys can't really cast anything useful yet, because I don't have any of that evocation, right? So this guy could cast lightning bolt, but not yet. So yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense to search, but yeah, I don't know. Obviously, like, now the research is even worse because they're not researching. So yeah, I don't know. If I was playing this again, maybe wouldn't have moved him out to site search so early, especially considering everything else that's going on. Maybe get some more research in for some more spells to make our other mages, or just make our mages in general more useful, and start moving mages up to support this army and get in here faster. Because every turn that we're hanging out, don't really know what's going on here. I'm assuming this is the fluctuation of the scouting report, right? Because it was 130, now it's 100. But he's almost assuredly recruiting soldiers every turn. He'd be a fool not to. So yeah, this is just getting stronger and stronger and harder to take. We're not really doing anything right now, with this army anyway. Which is never good, never a good look. So yeah, anyway, that was turn 11. Alright, a couple of things going around in the world. Another throne got claimed by Baratos, which I don't even think we have discovered yet. So, but there's a lot of factions on this map. There's a lot going on. We just have one little corner. Our searching paid off at least a little bit. So this is, so you can see this has been searched now by level 2 fire mage, level 2 air mage, and level 1 earth mage. And they found this deep crevasse, which has given us now an earth gem every turn. So that's good, right? This is where site searching is paying off here. So I was kind of questioning it previously, and still kind of questionable. 11 research had is pretty low, but getting more gems, it's really good. You want that. So let's see here. Prophet coming in. The dormant pretender gods are awakening. So anybody that took their god dormant, they're going to be getting it either this turn or shortly thereafter. It doesn't really matter too much for us. Our god was awake. Khaleesi's god, who we're fighting, was also awake. It looks like Arcocephali, one of our neighbors, is fighting with I'm blanking on this faction's name, Agartha. So that's good news, because yeah, we do not want our neighbor to get interested in us, and if they're fighting somebody else, that means they're probably just as busy as we are. Let's take a look and see. That's a big army. So yeah, I would say that they're pretty busy. This would keep me busy. So yeah, this is just province defense. So this isn't really a battle, but we can kind of see what Agartha is rocking. So they're like caves is kind of their whole thing. They got these pale ones, and they kind of suck as troops. Like these guys, you can see, like they're okay. Attack and defense skill average. They have good strength. Protection is like alright. Better than average like hit points. But yeah, they're kind of notorious for being underwhelming in melee. But they got these guys who have a Mind Blast of range 100, and it deals quite a bit of damage. It does like this psychic damage. I think it paralyzes guys that it hits. It's pretty nasty. And he's got a bunch of them. So yeah, we'll run this real quick. But yeah, you can see that there it is right there. These guys are screwed. Yep. So anyway, I'm glad that I'm not the one that has to fight this. So yeah, good luck, Arcocephali. More power to you. So I'm finally getting ready to move in, basically. So I sent a scout in to attack. Normally you can just move a scout in and they'll give you a scout report, but you can see that like the scout report fluctuates, and you don't get like full details. When you actually attack, you get full details, right? So you can see exactly. Now we kind of already knew this because of the accidental sacrifice of Bobo a couple turns ago. So this is just his province defense, but this does tell us that he's not patrolling, at least this turn. Now, of course, by attacking him with this scout, like he can now kind of gather that I'm probably going to attack, so he may change his game plan and decide to patrol. Patrolling is just when you're in a fort, normally the army just hides out. That's kind of like their default state. You can't really see. Actually, yeah, you go. Defend. So anybody that's on the defend order, they don't actually fight when people move into the province. Then the province defense will always fight, right? And that's what we saw here from our scout, attacking and seeing who's in there. But unless you explicitly tell guys like to patrol, in which case they'll fight if somebody tries to move into the province with a fort. And this is specifically with forts. So basically everybody hides out in the fort unless you tell them otherwise. And I mean, like the problem with patrolling, it's fine for your soldiers because they're usually not busy doing something else anyway. In a situation like this, usually you want them out like capturing stuff for you. But when you're on the defensive, patrolling is fine. Doesn't really cost you too much. But your mages, right? Call God, research, right? You have other things to do with your mages, and if they're patrolling, they can't do those other things. So it's a bit of a mind game, trying to predict like, okay, like somebody is going to attack me this turn, so I need to patrol, with enough mages to support, my army that I'm going to take out. Like, or you decide not to patrol, and maybe you don't decide to patrol with your army because you want the mages to help it out, so you just leave everybody inside the fort. So I'm hoping he stays in the fort because I would rather fight all that province defense by itself rather than having to fight his army and the province defense and his mages, which is really the main thing I'm worried about. And at least I did bring up some mages, so like the waiting was not for nothing. So just 2 mages. And more soldiers. So I mean, I have been filtering troops in. We have a lot of troops here. So 139, which is quite a bit for what is this, turn 12. And then we have even more here. And they 14, move 14. They should be able to join if I choose to attack. And so yes, this is another 45. So I mean, I took my sweet time for sure. But I didn't waste it completely. So we're going to be bringing a lot of troops in, not so many mages, but I don't really actually have. The thing of it is again, kind of being hurt by Alm's random magic access. To cast Earth Melt reliably, you really want like an Earth 2. Now that said, you can boost guys 1 level through magic gem usage, which is honestly, again, if I was replaying this, like forget all this Call God stuff, probably just pull all 4 of these guys out, or at least some of them out, and get them in the army, give them some gems to let them boost themselves up to level 2 Earth, and throw down some more Earth Melts. But either that didn't cross my mind or I didn't think it was worth it. Earth Melt is good, but again, his guys have pretty decent strength. So yeah, I'm not really sure how effective it's going to be and whether it's really worth it, to pull out all these mages and spend gems, because like these guys can cast Earth Melt for free, right? Whereas like these guys, every battle they would have to spend a gem per mage to boost themselves up to be able to cast that spell. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely reasons you want to leave them at home. These 2 are the only guys that I got that have like that 2 earth magic. Everybody else is spread. Now, I mean, that said, arguably I could have been recruiting more of my antlered shamans who are guaranteed to get level 2 earth, but they're slower to recruit, so I would have fewer mages overall, able to throw into combat, and they're more expensive. So I don't know. I'm not actually building any infrastructure yet, which is brutal. You can get away with it a little bit more as Ulm, because you can recruit outside of your forts, but I can't recruit that much outside of my forts, and I can't recruit any mages, without at least like a lab, I think, and a temple, because I think you can recruit the shamans outside of forts, but it's slow because without a fort, it's only 1 commander point, so it's going to take 2 turns to get these guys instead of 1 turn. And honestly, like any infrastructure that you have that's like outside of a fort is kind of risky. Because for the temples, if you lose the province, it's just automatically destroyed. The labs stick around forever, but the enemies can also use, like, labs are neutral essentially, right? So it's like whoever captures the province gets to use that lab. And so you generally don't want to leave labs loose in your territory outside of forts, because enemies can use those as they invade, which is bad. So yeah, without a fort, you can't really get mages realistically, generally. And I am not even building a fort yet. Now, I mean, that said, like, early age, one of the things is the populations tend to be lower, and so you get less income in general. Middle age and late age, you get more money. Early age, you tend to find more magic sites, get more gems. It's just kind of like the features of the different ages. Even for early age, like, these provinces are not, like, great. Like, this one is like, yeah, normally these farm provinces tend to make you more money, and this one's got 8,000 people in it, which, for early age is decent. You can see, like, right, like, so capital has like 31,000, and again, this just reiterates like how important capitals are, because it's like miles ahead of this, which is probably our most populous province, even that we know about, and certainly that we control. But like, yeah, even still 60 is like not particularly high. It's not terrible, but usually you want to see like 100 is like pretty good, for like one of these farm provinces. So it'd be nice to see like at least like an 80 or a 90 or something for this. I don't know why this is so low. This is not helping sloth and turmoil. That's probably part of it. Yeah, income. Yeah, dang. And this must be his dominion. We can see, yeah, holy cow. That's his monolith, and his scales are not great, and because he took a pretty good bless and his god is awake, right? And so you have to pay for that, and you pay for that with subpar scales, and of course now that's hurting me because I've captured it, but it's still under his dominion, so it's still his scales, and my dominion isn't like fantastic either. I did tank cold, and that's hurting in terms of the income, because my guys, they have everybody's got like the snow move and cold resistance, so Ulm does a lot better in like extreme cold than most factions, although Niflheim, the essentially the cold giants, they don't mind cold either, so yeah, that's a little concerning that we bordered them. But most factions don't love cold. They move really slow. You can use like some water magic. There's like some frost type spells and stuff that do better in provinces that are cold. But I think Ulm prefers like cold 1. And I've gone cold 3 here, so we are taking some income hit from that. So kind of my own fault, I guess, somewhat. But yeah, some of these provinces, like, yeah, really would have liked to see at least a few they were getting more money out of. Like, this is This is kind of rough. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm not making the sacrifices that you need to make in terms of, like, you know, pausing troop production for a turn to throw up a fort, because that's not uncommon. You know, even if you get, like, some really nice provinces, like, forts are really expensive. I think it's 600 for palisades. So, you know, you end up having to make some sacrifices for the turn that you start construction. And then, of course, it takes 4 turns for it to be built. And if you lose the province during that time, goodbye fort. Goodbye 600 gold. So, you know, building forts in the middle of a war is risky, and you generally don't want to build a fort inside your cap circle. I mean, you can, like, it's fine, especially if it's just one, realistically. So, like, that's probably what I should be doing, like, maybe a fort here, and then just pray that this guy doesn't break the nap, because, like, this is not terrible. 6,262 income. Decent recruitment. It's got okay resources. It's going to be able to pull in resources from these 2 forests, which both have decent resources. I don't control some of the bordering provinces, which kind of sucks, because I won't be able to draw resources from somebody else's territory. But, you know, this is a reasonably safe place, so probably should be, like, trying to throw a fort up here. I really want to throw a fort here, because it's you know, it's got a lot of connections. Which means it's going to be able to draw a lot of resources. It's also where those Amazons are, so I'm going to need a fort here anyway to recruit these mages. The whole reason that I got into this mess with this player. But it's, you know, it's like 1 province away from his capital. So, like, trying to throw down a fort here, it's like I lose 1 battle, right? And then, you know, he can just cancel that fort construction, like, really easily. So I'm kind of holding out, you know, hoping that I can jump on top of his capital, you know, kind of wrap this up and then start building this fort here. But yeah, probably should have started one here already. This is really late. Like, you want to already have, like, 1 fort built and probably another fort building or another 2 forts building. I don't know, we can't really see. This is a capital. Okay, yeah, so this guy's managed to get a fort up. This is a palisade, what a palisade looks like. So yes, this player is doing a good job of getting another fort up. It does look like it's kind of hard to tell if other people are getting forts up. You know, I mean, that said, like, if you're in the middle of a war, like, it is risky to be spending money on infrastructure, right? Because it's like, on the one hand, like, yeah, okay, I'm late getting a fort up, but, you know, hey, like, I'm getting a lot of troops, right? It's like, I got, you know, big army that I'm going to be able to throw at this guy. And you know, you want to win the war, right? If I'm spending 600 gold on a fort and he's not, you know, like, I could lose, right? And then, like, that fort is not going to help me at minimum for 4 turns, right? That's just, like, lost income. So, you know, it's trade-offs, but, like, it's definitely putting me behind. So yeah, turn 12 is traditionally, like, when expansion is kind of finished. It's the end of the first year. It's when dormant gods start awakening. So, you know, you want, like, 12 provinces at minimum, right, by turn 12. And, you know, I think, we've captured maybe 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we have 11, you know, and arguably we could, you know, this one we can probably diplomacy out with other people because it's part of our cap circle, so arguably that's 12, you know, and we'll probably be able to get this one also in our cap circle, so that's 13, right? But it's also still, like, turn 12. We have not cleared our cap circle. Not great. Now, I mean, this is a crap ton of barbarians, which sucks, right? Like, nobody else has grabbed that, and, like, nobody likes going after 80 barbarians. So, you know, we have a little bit of grace with that, and it's also going to take a little bit more resources to take that. This province sucks. Generally, if there's undead there, it means, like, the province is basically dead, right? So there's 340 people here. The income is 2. And there's 7 resources. So, you know, from like an income and a recruitment standpoint, this is a dead province. It is a wasteland, more magic sites. So we definitely do want this province, because hopefully there'll be some magic sites there. but it's not so bad that we haven't capped this yet. We've captured most of the important provinces, other than, I mean, this would be nice, but 80 barbarians. So, you know, not doing terrible, but still, like, it's just even as like a point of pride, you know. And again, like, players use that to like try to gauge, you know. It's just like, okay, it's turn 12, and assuming somebody's scouting me heavily, you know, and they could see like, oh, okay, this person hasn't, like, you know, cleared their cap circle out, what's going on, you know. And that's the thing, you always have to be worried about, like, okay, like Arcocephalia is busy, right? So that's great, but like, what's Niflheim doing? You know, we don't really know yet, you know. We have a nap with this player, so that's great. But like, you know, what's this player doing? Right now we border on what's this player doing? Like, not really sure yet, you know. And what they're doing is maybe preparing to attack. And, you know, a lot of that is perceived strength. So yeah, don't love that we haven't cleared this. Don't love how long we've been taking to you know, jump on this capital, but, you know, we've brought up a lot of reinforcements. Our research sucks, doing some site searching. We'll see. That's turn 12.